Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the Indian stock market using everyday concepts that absolutely anyone can understand. Let's dive right in and demystify the financial world by comparing it to something incredibly familiar, the traditional village framework. There is no rocket science here, just structured, simple ideas that make perfect sense.
So, how is a local bazaar like a stock exchange? Well, it sounds like a trick question, but it's actually the perfect way to understand the market. Think about the traditional village Mandi. A Mandi is simply a centralized marketplace where buyers and sellers physically meet to trade goods like grains or vegetables. The stock market works exactly the same way. Institutions like the National Stock Exchange, the NSE, and the Bombay Stock Exchange, the BSE, are literally just digital Mandis, but instead of trading crops, they bring together buyers and sellers of businesses.
Historically, less than 1% of the Indian population has invested directly in the stock market. Now, keeping money in a basic savings account is great for capital preservation with very low risk, right? But it offers minimal protection against inflation. That means the money slowly loses its purchasing power over time. Investing in the securities market, on the other hand, is a regulated solution designed for wealth creation. Yes, it comes with market-linked risk, but it offers high inflation protection. It's a fundamental mindset shift from just hoarding money to actually making it work and grow.
Let's move on to Section 1. What is a share? The partnership model.
Zooming in from the macro-level 𝗦𝗫𝗕 down to the micro-level, let's think about a tractor. When two people buy a tractor together, they both own it. A share is just like that. That quote hits the nail on the head. If a large factory needs money to expand, it doesn't just borrow from a single bank. Instead, it sells tiny pieces of itself to the public. Buying one of those pieces makes the buyer a true partner in the business. And just like sharing the harvest from a jointly owned field, that partner gets to share in the factory's financial harvest.
To put it formally, a share is the basic unit of ownership in a company. It represents a literal partnership. As the business grows and generates money, shareholders have a right to receive a portion of those profits, which are called dividends. Plus, it comes with limited liability, meaning an investor's risk is strictly limited to the exact amount they initially invested. No more, no less.
Let's imagine 5 neighbors who want to start a large flour mill, or a 𝗕𝗃𝗃. But no single person has the full amount of cash needed to buy the machine. So, they all contribute equally. Each neighbor receives a piece of paper, a share, stating they own 1/5 of the mill. If the mill makes a profit at the end of the month, everyone gets an equal slice of those profits. And if the mill's overall value grows, the value of each slice grows right along with it. Now, not all shares are identical. There are 2 primary categories we need to understand. First, we have equity shares. These offer higher risk and higher potential reward, coming with voting rights and unlimited profit participation based on the company's performance. Then there are preference shares. As the name suggests, these give the holder preference. They carry a lower risk profile and a fixed reward, providing priority during dividend payouts and a lot more stability overall. This structure lets investors choose the exact level of involvement and risk they are comfortable with.
Okay, Section 2. Accounts needed for trading. Entering the digital Mandi. Let's look at the practical mechanics. How does an absolute beginner actually start participating safely? Well, it's a super simple step-by-step process, often called the 3-in-1 system. Step 1, a basic savings bank account is needed to hold the actual cash. Step 2 is a trading account held with a registered stockbroker. This is strictly used to place buy-or-sell orders. And Step 3 requires a demat account. The money simply flows from the bank through the trading account to pay for the asset, and then that purchased asset ends up safely in the third account.
But what exactly is that third account? A demat account is literally just a digital locker. In the past, people held physical, paper certificates to prove their ownership, which could easily be lost or damaged. Today, the demat account securely stores those shares in an electronic form. It's incredibly secure, easily accessible, and entirely digital.
Before opening any of these accounts, though, everyone must go through the KYC process, or Know Your Customer. This is the essential, unavoidable first step for entering the formal financial system safely. It verifies identity, confirms residential addresses, and is absolutely crucial for preventing money laundering and fraud. And the best part, thanks to the Central KYC Registry, or CKYC, this process only needs to be completed once. After that, it can be utilized across all financial institutions in India.
Moving on to Section 3, the riskometer, gauging investment temperature.
Understanding how to participate safely is so vital.
To help out, regulators let beginners easily visualize danger levels through the SEBI-mandated 𝗧𝗏 Think of it just like a thermometer or a speedometer. A low-risk level is colored a cool green, perfect for conservative safety seekers. Moderate risk is a warm yellow for balanced, middle-path investors. And very high risk is a hot red, suited for aggressive growth seekers. It ensures anyone can quickly match a financial product to their personal comfort level before spending a single rupee.
And that brings us to Section 4, SEBI, the village Sarpanch, protecting the digital Mandi. Who exactly is managing all this risk, ensuring transparency, and keeping the market safe? For anyone entering the market, trust is often the biggest barrier. Well, that's exactly where SEBI comes in. SEBI stands for the Securities and Exchange Board of India. We can think of SEBI as the protective Sarpanch, or village head. It is the statutory regulatory body that ensures market transparency, forcibly stops irregular trading activities, and actively protects the interests of all investors. They are the official guards at the gates of the digital Mandi. SEBI provides incredibly robust safety nets. If an investor ever feels cheated by a broker or a company, they definitely do not have to fight alone. SEBI offers powerful digital platforms like Scores for complaint redressal and Smart ODR for online dispute resolution. In fact, SEBI successfully resolved more than 50,000 complaints through these platforms in 2023 alone. That's huge. They also run active grassroots and radio campaigns to heavily combat investment fraud spreading on social media platforms.
However, while the Sarpanch protects the village, individuals must also take personal responsibility to avoid fraudulent traps. A safe investor deals strictly with SEBI registered intermediaries. Account details and passwords must be kept entirely secret. It is incredibly vital to read all scheme information documents carefully before making decisions. And perhaps most importantly today, one must deliberately ignore unauthorized stock tips on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, or Telegram. Financial protection is always a two-way street.
So, the crucial point we end on today is this. By starting early, diversifying the investment basket, and trusting only registered guards, can the transition from a nation of savers to a nation of investors unlock true financial freedom. The stock market isn't a place of mystery or gambling. It's a place of actual partnership and economic growth. Let the power of compounding grow wealth over time, like a mighty banyan tree. Thanks for joining this explainer and keep exploring these incredible concepts.
𝗕𝘃𝗴𝗏 Ullu. Knowledge is one of the best investments you can make, and continuous learning keeps you sharp. Subscribe to 𝗕𝘃𝗴𝗏 Ullu on YouTube.